Okay, Madam Clerk, why don't we start? Welcome everybody to the Committee on Public Services. We will now start the meeting. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Commissioner Varga?
Here.
Commissioner Palomera? Commissioner Haddis?
Present in Wayne County, City of Wayne.
Commissioner Daub has requested an excuse. Commissioner Baydoun?
Here.
Commissioner Ware? Chair Marecki?
Here.
You have a quorum
Thank you.
present.
Thank you. Next item.
Just for the record, Commissioner Palomera just logged on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, there you go. Welcome,
B.
Commissioner. Okay, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
B, approval of the November 24th, 2020 meeting minutes.
So move.
Approval.
Okay, we have an approval by Commissioner Haddis, supported by Commissioner Varga. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Next item.
C, old business, there is none.
Okay. Next one.
Item D1, under new business, communication from the Department of Public Services forwarding notification of an emergency procurement with Rotor Electric Company of Michigan.
Okay, this is one of those emergency procurements that has a little bit of an issue with the PO again. Is someone here from the administration that could just touch base on this?
Good morning, Commissioner Marecki. This is Patrick Cullen from Environmental Services Division.
Good morning. Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Do you have a specific question?
Yeah, this is one of the ones, these POs are issued for these. We're trying to get rid of this practice where these POs are issued and the dates are like for a year, and these are supposed to be emergency procurements. So we've been having discussions about this, why these are not just focused on the emergency at the time, and these contracts are like put out for a whole year when these are supposed to be emergency procurements for the health and safety of the public. So I don't know if you can address that, but we've probably had 7 of these in the last couple months, 7 or 8 of them, and we're trying to figure out why this keeps happening.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure about the other ones. I know for this one specifically, there really shouldn't have been a reason for us to have this stretched out for as long as what it was. Other than there may have been a little bit of follow-up work to the initial emergency work that needed. I think that's probably what we were thinking when we issued this one at first, but I would agree with you actually that a year is probably would have been too long for this one. We might have needed no more than 3 months for this particular issue.
It seems like all of these are pushed out to the end of the next fiscal year every time this comes up. So
yeah, and I'm not sure if that's just a conversation internally with us, between us and Corp Counsel as we're working on these emergency procurement contracts. But now that you've brought it up to me, I will certainly keep that in mind in what hopefully I never have to deal with again, which would be another emergency procurement.
So if this census contract now has gone out and the PO is issued, which is the payment mechanism, if something happens that you need something like this again, will that come back to the commission? I mean, because once you have that PO in there, you can pretty much do what you want. So would that come back to the commission, that expense again?
So, yeah, our intention would not to come back to the commission on this particular emergency procurement. The work is pretty much completed at this point. I can tell you that we are working on a larger, as needed electrical contractor, a more broad contract for all of the Rouge Valley system, and that would definitely be coming to the commission. We're working on that right now, so that we have an as needed electrical contractor in place. And that certainly would come to the commission for review and approval.
Okay, and I guess I was talking about this hypothetically.
Right, Commissioner.
Yes.
Commissioner,
I'm sorry, this is Michelle Yancey, DPS admin. Yes, it would come back if we were to modify this emergency procurement. It would definitely come back to you all as another receiving file.
Okay, so Michelle, why is it that all these contracts are to the end of the fiscal year when this might have taken a month or whatever it was, 2 months?
Now, I can only speak for DPS. I can't
Okay.
speak for M&B and the buildings. I forget what they're called now, division, but excuse me for not knowing the correct name for their department or division. This
Okay.
one is, this one was submitted with these dates. Now, Patrick spoke about why it took to the end of this fiscal year. We could have tailored it to make it to where it was just 3 months, but we didn't know how long it would actually take for the electrical issue to be fixed. So it's being cautious of the amount of time and not having to modify the contract for additional time if we only did it for 3 months and it actually took 4. And not knowing with the COVID and things like that, how they actually would have came out and, you know, did the work. So we was just being a little cautious just with the circumstances that's going around right now.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. It seems like every one of these contracts owes the end of the fiscal year. Thank you, though. Felicia Johnson, you're on the line, right? Could you just
Yes,
weigh
ma'am.
in on here? Could you just weigh in on this?
So with regards to the concern that there seems to be an automatic end date for September 30th for the emergency procurements, that's a question for procurement, not necessarily the department specifically. That seems to be something that they're doing across the board without taking into consideration the time it may take to do the actual service. They're just giving it a certain end date, which is the end of the fiscal year. With regards to this one coming back, Michelle, I believe, answered your question, which is it would not come back for commission approval. They have a PO out to September 2021. They actually could, it's only for $26,000, so they could do another purchase under that and increase that amount without actually coming back here. If it's an emergency, then it would come back here only because the ordinance requires the commission to be notified of emergency procurements. It wouldn't come back here for this body's approval.
Okay. Okay, well, that's what we're trying to stop here, but we have another procurement issue on this today, so maybe we can bring that up along with the other one. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions on this? Let's see. Nobody? Okay, so we can, this is a receive and file.
Move to receive and file.
Support.
All right, we have a receive and file by Commissioner Bargo and approval and supported by Commissioner Baydoun. Any questions before we vote? Okay, all those in favor of this receive and file, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Next item, Madam Clerk.
Item 2, requesting commission approval of a cooperative agreement with Altec.
Okay, this is for the trucks fixing the traffic signals.
So move.
Okay,
Support.
okay. I have one question if someone's here on this issue.
Yes, Madam Chair. Derek Coley, Equipment Division Director.
Oh, thanks, Derek, for being here. Do these machines have anything to do with the timing of the lights, or is that all computerized? I mean, not these
they are
machines, not these
different.
machines. The fact that they're that they fix them, is that totally different? Two different things?
Well, the unit itself is what carries the electricians around. The electricians in the Traffic Signals Division, they are responsible for the timing and changing the clocks during daylight saving times and things like that. This purchase is strictly for the 4 trucks that they desperately need.
Okay, to fix and repair the lights.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions? Okay, we have an approval by Commissioner Haddis and a support by Commissioner Baydoun. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Next item.
Item 3, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Okay. Railroad closing improvements. Any questions on this?
So move, Madam the Chair.
I will support.
All right. We have an approval by Commissioner Hattis, supported by Commissioner Baidoon. Any questions before we vote? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes. Motion passes. Next item, number 4.
Item 4, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Okay, this is for Cherry Hill, road improvements at Cherry Hill in Commissioner Dobbs' district. Any questions on this?
I'll make the motion for Mrs. Dobb.
Okay,
She's my neighbor.
Support.
okay, we have a approval by Commissioner Hattis, supported by Commissioner Varga. Was that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, any questions before we vote?
Thanks, Joey.
Oh, was it you, Joey? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 5, requesting commission approval of a contract with the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Okay, it's for E-Course Road. Questions on this? Direction?
Move approval.
Move approval.
Okay, I know that's Commissioner Palomera and Commissioner Varga, I think. Okay, any questions before we vote? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 6, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with Orchard Hilton McClement.
Okay, OHM to prepare construction bid documents for the replacement of Cherry Hill Road Bridge, which is a good thing.
So move.
Okay. Commissioner
Support.
Hattis
Support.
and Commissioner Palomera. Okay, any questions before we vote? All right, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner
Call the roll.
Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki.
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 7, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with Waitrim Associates.
Okay, this is for Middle Belt Road Bridge over Bell Creek. Any
Move
questions on
approval.
this? Okay,
Support.
all right, we have an approval by Commissioner Palomera, supported by Commissioner Baidoon. Questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll on this?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki.
Yes, motion passes. Now on to the addenda.
Item 8, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with the 1-year option to renew with Wade Trim.
Okay, this is for Eureka Road from Toledo Road to Fort Street.
Move approval.
I'll I'll support. Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Palomera moved and support was
Varga.
Varga. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes, motion passes. Next item.
Item 9, requesting commission approval of Amendment 1 to a 3-year contract with the 1-year option to renew with OHM.
Okay, Edward Hines Road from Outer Drive to the Ford ramp.
Is that your district?
Is that your district, Sam?
Yes, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Support.
All right.
Support.
We have an approval by Commissioner Baidoon, supported by Commissioner Hayes. Any questions on this? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you call the roll?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Hattis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baidoon,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes. Motion passes. Madam Clerk, I would like to take 10 and 11 together. If you
Okay.
could read both of those.
Item 10, requesting commission approval to rescind Resolution 2019-831 with AIS Construction Equipment Corporation for 3 John Deere loaders.
Okay,
Item 11, requesting commission approval of a cooperative agreement with AIS Construction Equipment Corporation.
okay.
Well, I know Commissioner Basham loved John Deere on his behalf. I make the motion.
Okay, go ahead, that's fine. I'm hoping,
Support it.
okay, I'm hoping that the commissioners were able to see the input that was put into these two items. And I've got some questions on this. Does anybody have any questions before I ask my questions? Okay, this was an unusual deal with procurement. And is anybody on the line from the procurement department?
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Aaron Wagner is on the line.
Oh, Aaron. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Could you tell us exactly what happened with this? Because I've read through all this stuff. I've talked to several people. Even though it appears straight up, it's perplexing why all this happened, why this equipment was delayed for so many months, and why our staff had to do so much work when it appears it could have been a simple fix to the original contract. So maybe you could tell us what went on here.
Yes, Commissioner Marecki through the chair. Initially, the department had requested a purchase of these items through the My Deal contract, and the quote came, if I'm not mistaken, the quote came initially through ASI, but it was the way that the quote was written, it was directed to purchase the vehicle or the equipment directly through John Deere. Now, my understanding is that purchase order was issued, and there was an issue with some of the language on the back of our PO terms and conditions, which are standardized, that John Deere refused to process or to place the order. And so really the only way we could order these was through ASI, who is our local supplier. And we ended up having to move to a different cooperative in order to make the procurement.
Does John Deere like ever distribute the equipment? My understanding is it AIS or ASI?
I think it's ASI, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at the
Okay,
sheet in
yeah, I
front of me.
have two different things. I think on our it's AIS on ours. I was under
Yep.
the understanding that AIS was the only person that distributed in Michigan. Anyway, I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, and I believe that is correct. It was an odd duck, excuse my French, to begin with, because the quote itself was not pricing from AIS. It was pricing through John Deere directly. And so when we realized we couldn't order it through John Deere directly, we ended up trying to have AIS provide a quote for the same equipment, and then it ended up that they couldn't honor the pricing through my deal, but if we went through another cooperative, we were able to purchase the equipment. So I moving forward, I'm gonna not approve any John Deere equipment through the my deal. I'm gonna go with the AIS that we've got, so we don't run into this issue anymore, unless the quotes are directly from is it ASI or AIS? I'm sorry.
AIS.
Yeah, AIS. Unless those quotes are specifically to order through AIS, because again, and I appreciate the amount of due diligence that Felicia and commission staff had done to kind of make a head or tails for this in the work that we also had with the department in trying to explain what had happened.
Okay, so just a couple more questions. So if anybody's
Yep.
going through the My Deal, they will be going through John Deere, and if they're in Michigan, that's not going to work. It should be through the AIS through the My Deal. I mean, and why couldn't we just change those words around? The commission approved this back in 2019, I believe. So this has been held up for a long time. How come it couldn't have just been changed over? And the other question I have is the PO language that John Deere was not happy with would pertain to the financial emergency consent agreement. And you mentioned that's a standardized form. Is that still a standardized form when that really isn't anything right now in the county?
Right. And so back in 2018, we had changed the PO terms and conditions, and there was an issue or a glitch we found out with the printer on when POs are issued. It reverted back to an older version of our terms and conditions. So that was another learning that we had found on this, that the language wouldn't have been an issue had they had the correct backup PO terms and conditions. And it was a programming issue from what I've learned through JD Edwards.
Okay. Well, hopefully this isn't going to happen again, because the commission already approved this last year, and the department's been waiting for this equipment, and it seemed like such an easy fix, and it's gone through months and months and months. I appreciate our staff working on this for the department, because they're going to need this. I know Felicia's on the line because I talked to her before. Do you have anything else to add, Felicia, with this? And I appreciate the work that our staff did on this. This is very long time, unfortunately, and even this contract now is $5,000 more than the one we approved a year ago. But Felicia, do you have anything else to add?
Oh, through through the chair, to the committee. So the primary issue that staff had with this particular item is that, as indicated back in 2019, the commission approved the purchase of this equipment through the My Deal Co-op. As indicated by Aaron, it's our understanding that John Deere had a concern with regards to the PO. So both of the co-ops, the current co-op that they're looking to use and the My Deal co-op, both are with John Deere. As indicated, AIS is the only dealer, so the equipment will be coming through AIS. And contrary to what I think Aaron said, both quotes, the My Deal purchase cooperative and the current Sourcewell, which they're asking you to approve, both of those quotes came from AIS. The only difference is that the My Deal quote from AIS said issue the PO to John Deere. The PO that was issued by purchasing was issued to AIS and not John Deere, as indicated in the package that was approved by the commission and vetted by procurement in 2019. And in addition to that, again, Aaron mentioned that the John Deere took issue with the language on the PO. Well, as Aaron indicated, they issued an outdated PO. So from commission staff perspective, it wasn't clear why the commission needed to take the extraordinary step to rescind a valid contract. The My Deal contract was a valid co-op. It was vetted by the department. It was vetted by procurement. It was approved by the commission. The purchase did not go through because of the PO. If the issue was that the purchasing division issued an outdated PO with the financial emergency language, it wasn't clear to staff why they simply didn't take the step to issue an updated PO, get the equipment purchased. That would have avoided the department having to go through and do a new contract with the new vendor. With the new cooperative. It would have avoided the commission staff having to review the contract and the commission for avoiding the commission to rescind the contract. So for several months, I engaged in discussion with the procurement division to see if they would essentially modify the PO to the original, because the PO was the issue. It wasn't the contract, it was the PO. They issued an outdated PO with the wrong language. They could have simply reissued it and none of this would be occurring, and the department would have had the equipment, and we would have saved a lot of time and energy by many employees of the county. Instead, they chose not to do that. So now they're asking you to rescind that contract and to enter into a new contract, which technically will cost the county more money to purchase the same equipment. So from the staff perspective, again, we were just looking for efficiencies. It's in the county, and we were looking not to have to do additional work and to try to assist the department in getting their equipment in an efficient, timely manner. Unfortunately, because that PO was never revised, several months passed, that contract has now expired. So now we're here today. The department is asking you to rescind that valid contract that you approved and now approve a new contract, which will cost more money for that equipment.
Thank you. So Aaron, I guess it comes down to why was the PO never updated? Why couldn't that have been updated, the PO? And this would have saved months of hassle.
Right. And by the time I learned that was the issue, that the contract had already expired. Is the issue.
All right. Okay, well, hopefully this isn't going to happen again. It sounds like people are aware of it, and the commissioners are aware of it, and it won't happen again. And Aaron, while you're on, I just wanted to ask you a question. This was way back on number 1 on our agenda, and it was these emergency procurements that every time we get these emergency procurements, the PO goes on till the end of the fiscal year. The emergency may take a one-time fix, like something in the jail, but the PO is there till the end of the fiscal year. So anybody could get any more work done on that, and the commissioners wouldn't even know that happened under that contract. So why is that happening? We're trying to get a handle on this because we've had like 8 or 9 of them like this.
So for the receive and file, or for those emergency procurement POs, it's practice of purchasing to have that PO open for the fiscal year, so that invoice can be processed. Because if the PO closes and the invoice had not been received yet, we have to go back into the system and reopen the PO manually in order to process that purchase order. And purchase orders are only good for the fiscal year that they're cut in, so that expenditure could be paid throughout the fiscal year. Once that fiscal year closes, they can no longer make that payment unless there's a manual override.
Okay.
And then once that expenditure is issued and the invoice is paid, then that zeroes out that purchase order.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to look more into that, because my understanding is that anything could be done on that contract then with that open PO, but you're saying that PO is specific to that emergency procurement and nothing else could be done in that contract?
That's correct. If that contract were to be reopened, or more money were to be asked to be done, or more work would have to be done, they'd have to amend it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being on, and thank you for the explanation. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Madam Chair?
Oh, yes.
Just as a follow-up to the AIS issue, I just wanted to clarify for commissioners that commission staff started engaging in this discussion with the department and purchasing back in July. So throughout all of the end of July, August, and September, we were engaging in trying to get this resolved. That original contract didn't expire till September 30th. So there was an opportunity to have it resolved. It simply was not, but there were several months of conversations back and forth prior to that expiration. Had it expired, commission staff wouldn't have invested so much time in trying to get it resolved if it was no way to get it to have it resolved. So I just wanted to clarify the dates. There was an opportunity to get that PO reissued because we started this discussion before the expiration of that. So I wanted to clarify that. And with regards to your second question for the dates for the PO, even though, and I think Aaron indicated this, the only reason why they would have to amend that PO would be if they needed to add more money to it. But if they have it, again, extended out to September 30th, then there would be no need to amend it for the dates. But I think the primary issue here is that the commission has delegated authority to the administration to enter into contracts without its approval to address emergencies. So that the administration should take into consideration the time needed for the emergency only, because we've had POs for emergencies that's gone out over a year. In one instance, it was a 2-year contract for an emergency. But again, the reason the commission gave that delegated authority was to address that immediate need. It wasn't to procure a service on a long-term basis. So I understand what Aaron said. I don't think that addresses and resolves the concerns that the commission or that you pressed, because again, that delegated authority is for a limited time for a specific purpose to address an emergency. It isn't a long-term fix to things.
Okay, I appreciate that. Maybe we're going to have to look deeper into this, because it just keeps happening. So I appreciate that explanation, and also the clarification of the dates that you guys were working on this before it even, this number 11, before it expired. So, okay. So, I mean, the prudent thing of this committee would be to approve 10 and 11, just so our DPS department can have this equipment. But I still am just perplexed on how long this took for our commission staff and for DPS. So we do have, do commissioners have any questions?
Well, Commissioner Marecki,
Yes.
Through the chair, you know, I do appreciate it and, you know, understand that what Felicia, you know, was expressing as far as the issue. And, you know, the challenge that procurement had this summer was, you know, from when the furloughs went into effect till the end of September, there were three individuals working through the county on procurement, myself, Monica Jackson, and Michelle Brown. And, you know, while it you know, we've been trying to prioritize, you know, the emergencies that have been coming through with the CARES Act. And unfortunately, and it, you know, it falls on me on this, we did not have the bandwidth to fully invest, to have this resolved in a timely manner, just due to the fact that there were 3 individuals throughout the entire county working on procurement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Okay, we have an approval by Commissioner Haddis and Commissioner Varga, and this is for both the items, commissioners?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Haddis, is that right, for both items?
Right.
Okay. Okay, Madam Clerk, can you take the roll for both items, please?
Commissioner Varga,
Yes.
Commissioner Palomera,
Yes.
Commissioner Haddis,
Yes.
Commissioner Baydoun,
Yes.
Commissioner Marecki,
Yes. Motion passes. Next item?
E, such other matters as may be properly submitted before the committee.
I haven't heard any. Do any of the commissioners have such other matters? Okay, next item.
Public comments.
Okay, Madam Clerk, could you unmute? Have we gotten any emails?
No, we have not received any emails.
Okay, can you unmute everyone? I was going to have people put their names into the chat room, but we don't have as many participants as we did last time.
Everyone's unmuted.
Okay, anybody from the public that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? You have 2 minutes to address us, and we don't go back and forth with comments. We just listen to what you have to say to us. Anyone from the public? Okay, I don't see anyone in the chat room. Anyone from the public that would like to address the Committee on Public Services? Okay, one more time. Anyone from the public would like to address us? Okay, I see no one. Madam Clerk, next item.
Adjournment.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Support.
Okay, we have approval and support. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are
Aye.
now adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for attending the meeting.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
No ways and means today.
Hey, Madam
Yeah,
Clerk,
thank you.
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, clerk, yes.
just